Hi everyone, this is Veronica. Today we are going to talk about certain issues that are waiting for India in 2090. So, obviously, India is progressing a lot, but we cannot undermine these issues that we are going to discuss. There are external factors, there are internal factors. We'll discuss all of them. For my video updates, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook. The PDF of this lecture will be uploaded on our website. So, see, the main thing here I want to tell you is that India is preparing for the general election this year, and the country is facing a difficult external and internal situation. So, we need to remain alert to unexpected developments that are going in and around the world. So, this is a channel StudyIQ. If you're preparing for any government exam, our pen drive and tablet courses are also available. For additional information, you can call on these numbers or you can visit our website too. So, what is the relevance of this topic in your exam? So, from UPSC, it is very important in mains paper 2 and 3. So, international relations and internal security, as I told you, it is important. And from objective level, you should have basic knowledge of India's security challenge, both at external and internal fronts. And for subjective level, the difficult external internal situation that India might have to face in 2019, you should be aware about that and what could be done for it. So what is the issue? I told you we need to remain alert for some unexpected developments in 2019. So now, gloomy world in 2019. So why I'm saying that? Because rules governing international order. So earlier we used to say whether world is unipolar or it is bipolar or it is multipolar. So this is a question for you. What do you think? Whether we are unipolar, bipolar or multipolar? But what we feel that right now in the rules governing international order there is a leadership vacuum, because let me give you examples. Like, for example, United States President Donald Trump's utterances and actions are provoking stronger counter reactions, especially from China and Russia. Then US Vice President Mike Pence, his attack on China in October 2018 has also signaled the beginning of a new Cold War, because he said he attacked China because of its unfair trade practices to expand its influence. And even for the South China Sea also, China has been warned again and again by US. So even Mr. Trump has threatened to pull out a major arms control treaty with Russia. Then Russia has also been talking of building stronger deterrence, and Cold World War II seems for real now, right? So that is why we say the world seems so gloomy in 2019. So we'll discuss nations are today working at cross purposes. So we'll talk about two important nations, the nations which are important to India. Firstly, we'll talk about Russia. Then see, Russia is vigorously pursuing its pivot in Asia and for greater influence in Eurasia also. It has deepened its partnership with China and enhanced relation with Japan and South Korea. We are watching that. And in the end, right now, recently we have seen growing tension in the Sea of Azov. Right? So, following Russia's seizure of Ukraine ships could well lead to a major conflagration between Russia and the West, because Sea of Azov is the area where Russia and Ukraine decided that it will be treated as a common territory. Both the countries can send their ships over this area, but Russia captured Ukraine's ships on certain grounds that it was entering their territory. So there could be a confrontation between Russia and West. So this is about Russia in the global scenario. Then let's come to China. Now China is also consolidating its position making its position stronger in Asia. Next, what it's doing, in addition to its strategic partnership with Russia and China, it has mended its fences with Japan also. Then it's about China we are talking. Belt and Road Initiative. It has become the most potent weapon in China's armory, with Vietnam and Japan endorsing this concept. Then around these things that we have discussed about Russia and China, India is finding itself increasingly isolated, right, in Asia as a result of these things that we have discussed. Now let's talk about economic challenges. So in economic challenges, here one main thing is that we live in a globalized world. So even if there's a problem with few countries, it will it will impact the economy of other countries also. We have seen this in 2018, that most challenging was specter of an embracing US-China trade war. So constantly we have seen political rhetorics and even the trade war between US and China. And Chinese economy is getting weak. Why it is getting weak? Because it is investing a lot of money in future projects, the projects which are not even giving much revenue to China, but just to increase its influence it is investing. Just for example, Hambantota port in Sri Lanka, it's not giving much revenue to China, but it has still invested, right? So it is making Chinese economy very weak. Then we have seen Brexit last year, and even US is moving into a period of lower long-term growth. So when such things are going in around the globe, India cannot hope to remain insulated from these trends. It will impact our economy. It can impact our economy also. So now in this slide we'll discuss about India's ties with Russia and Japan. So see, coming to India's foreign policy concerns, relation with Russia and Japan could see a reset. So there needs to have a reset, because of lately we have moved very close to US also. So when two best friends, Russia and India, suppose they are best friends and India is moving towards some other best friend, so Russia is somewhere feeling bad. So we need to have a reset button for the connections now. And the strengthening Russia-China strategic relationship and the recent warmth in China-Japan relations could impact India's relation with both the countries. Notwithstanding the warmth displayed in the public by the leaders of India and Russia and India and Japan, the character of our relation with these two countries can undergo a change. So in public, if they are showing lot of hugs with the leaders of Russia and Japan, that does not mean it is working same on ground. We have to see it on the ground reality, because our relations with these two countries because of China can undergo a change. So what is evident is that India will need to expend a great deal of its diplomatic capital to ensure that relations do not decline to any considerable extent. Next here is India's relationship with China. So managing relations with China will be India's top priority, because someone has said you can change your friends but you cannot change your neighbors. So India-China relations are marked by a surface calm, by this masks an intrinsic struggle for influence in Asia and even beyond. Because obviously our borders are very peaceful. It seems like, yeah, India and China are very good. But no, it's not the thing. They are masking an internal struggle. So the Wuhan spirit, so let me write here, it is Wuhan spirit. So what is Wuhan spirit? Let me just tell you first that Wuhan spirit, notwithstanding little, has changed as far as India-China relations are concerned, except that there have not been any major Chinese incursion across the disputed India-China border. So what is this Wuhan spirit? Basically, there was an informal summit between PM Modi and Chinese President Xi in April 2018. So they discussed a lot of things very happily, very cordially, amicably about that India and China are large economies. We should work together. India and China should work towards long-term relationships. We should settle our issues. They even tried to push bilateral trades, but those were just talks. Nothing is being seen on the ground, because even the case of Masood Azhar, the global terrorist, India wants to claim want to tag him with global terrorist track, but China is again and again using its veto power against that thing. So now about China, it is making inroads in Indian Ocean region also. So in 2018, China had initiated certain moves to create a China-Myanmar economic corridor on the lines of CPEC. CPEC is your China-Pakistan economic corridor. Now the Chinese Navy is also poised to challenge India's position in the Indian Ocean. Chinese submarines already outnumber India's here. China is also preparing to outflank India by seeking control of Kyakupyo port on the Arakan coast of Myanmar, and planning a canal also, and that canal is known as Kara Canal connecting the Andaman Sea with the Gulf of Thailand. So, together with China's existing control over the Gwadar, Pakistan, and Hambantota, Sri Lanka ports, if China were to succeed in its attempts, it could give it a stranglehold across the Indian Ocean region. So, India's capacity to counter such moves in 2019 appears extremely limited. Now, here I'll talk about consolidation of all weather friendship. So just guess, all weather friendship is, here we are talking about China and Pakistan. So this year could also see a further consolidation of all weather friendship of China Pakistan. So even in 2018, Pakistan facilitated China's involvement in Afghanistan also, and they also succeeded in co-opting Russia to be a party to talks with Afghan Taliban. So the China-Pakistan economic corridor, having weathered quite a few storms in 2018, seems well set to progress this further in 2019. We have to be careful. So let's move to the next slide. So here we'll talk about Indo-Pakistan relations and the Afghan challenge. So see, the prospects of India-Pakistan relations improving on other hand are extremely limited. Cross-border terror attacks are likely to continue. Recently we have seen Pulwama attack, as also sponsorship of terror groups like Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed. Jaish-e-Mohammed has taken responsibility of recent Pulwama attacks also. So these are Pakistan-sponsored terror groups. So where India will face even rougher weather is in Afghanistan, where the Afghan state is perilously close to imploding. India has been kept out of talks with the Afghan Taliban by all countries concerned, including US, Russia, China, apart from Pakistan. So this is making India's position highly invidious. Okay, so next there are mixed challenges for India in rest of South Asia also, because the outlook for India in the rest of South Asia is also mixed, because towards the end of 2018 India could retrieve its position in the Maldives, but we have seen that Maldives has come up with a positive aspect for us, but it also succeeded in re-establishing its influence in Bhutan. The return of Sheikh Hasina as Prime Minister after general election in Bangladesh has also been a welcome relief for us right now. But yet, India will need to work harder in 2019 to check China from weaning away its neighbors, including Nepal as also Bangladesh, with offers of economic and military aid. So India will also need to use all its resources to assist Bangladesh to limit the influence of radical Islamist groups there. So now this was about the external factors. Now we'll talk about internal security challenges. So left extremist violence went up marginally in 2018, but the movement remained circumscribed, that is, it remained very limited within a core area in Chhattisgarh, Andhra Pradesh and Jharkhand. So ideologically, the movement has remained vibrant in 2019. Both ideological and militant aspects will need deft handling. So this is about internal security. Even Pakistan-sponsored terror attacks, it will also come in our internal security because of situation in Kashmir. So situation in Kashmir, we'll talk about it now. We already talked about left extremist violence. So now situation in Kashmir. See, in 2018, the situation in Kashmir sharply has degraded and the year has witnessed some of the highest level of violence since 1989, and recent was the Pulwama attack on 14th Feb, where a lot of our CRPF soldiers martyred. So there was again a sharp spurt in the number of security forces personnel being killed, alongside targeting of their families also. So the deadlock we have seen between the J&K administration, Jammu Kashmir administration and the militants is unlikely to be resolved. Then there is president rule in the state that has made little headway in sorting out the conflict-prone situation. Then there are militant outfits like JEM, that is Jaish-e-Mohammed, then Hizbul Mujahideen. They have appeared energized by the turn of events and can be expected to become still more active in 2019. And more educated locals are joining militant ranks. So we need to find out the reason that why the educated locals are joining the militant ranks. For the stone pelters, we say that they are being paid. Lot of people, youngsters are moving towards this thing called militancy, insurgency, citing unemployment. But what is happening to the educated locals who are joining militant ranks? So disclaimers notwithstanding, the presence of Islamic State is also in evidence. The consequences of this as far in 2019 is concerned could be considerable. Next is resurgence of ethnic subnationalism in Northeast. Now see, this has been simmering for some time, but now it threatens to boil over following the enactment of Citizenship Amendment Bill. I have made a separate video on this bill, and then I have discussed why Assam is protesting, why Mizoram is protesting, right? So this bill has given rise to fears that it would drastically alter the status quo in the region. So the amendment has helped unite vast segments of people across entire Northeast. So the divisive potential of the recent enacted act will have special resonance in the election year also. So it will demand sensitive and careful handling in 2019. Now in the end, last thing we have to talk is about farmers and Dalit unrest. See, two other issues that kept the nation on the edge in 2018 was farmers and Dalit unrest still remain unattended as 2019 has begun. Both can ignite fires, especially in an election year. This is little evidence, however, that the causes of the unrest are receiving careful consideration. So to conclude, I would just say that considering this difficult environment both externally and internally, we will reach out to peace it really seems very difficult to achieve. So what is the biggest weapon that we are having in our hand is diplomacy. So on the diplomatic front, India needs to be more skillful. So this internal situation will require to be dealt with far greater understanding. So we have to understand it from the core, from the reasoning. That is how we can handle these situations. So if you have any query, you can contact me on email, Instagram and Facebook or Telegram channel. Thank you.